Danny, there's a question for you from, I think that we get free from Sandra, asking about some of the issues around class and what is integration? What do those practices look like around and across different socioeconomic groups, and what's been sort of maybe some of your experience of that? What's that look like in your context?
I think that the socioeconomic differences are at least as big a barrier, if not a bigger barrier, than cultural differences. Our congregation has tried to reach out broadly. And her question had of providing charity versus opening the door to membership of those who are different socioeconomic class. We're definitely trying to move away from just doing charity, but on the other hand, I feel like as those who are blessed like we are, we need to give. Maybe there's another. Okay, specifically answer the question of does our congregation have those who are poor? The answer is yes, but they are a smaller number, and you can feel that. And I think that was one of the differences that one of our folks wanted to be drawn on the East meets West. That we're going to talk about socioeconomic differences, but I think there's another category in terms of if we are connected with folks and having real friendship, even if, because see, you come into our doors and you say, I don't feel like I fit. Okay, but can we have other spaces? Our youth ministry for a long time has been that space, and other places that are outside, maybe in homes, you at schools, you make these relationships, and then so you end up doing things like going to the ICE detention center because that family really matters to you. You end up being the person that posts the bail for them in your name because they're undocumented and they don't want to have them listed with the bail folks, and so. So maybe you could say they're not in our congregation, they're not members, but I've started to use this language of our wider community and trying to stretch our definition of church. We have members. The members have stars next to their name in the directory. We also have a lot of other folks who are not formal members that are regular participants in our life. And that's why when folks say, how big is your church? I say, well, depends on how you want. Okay, the easy answer is to say Sunday. But we have a lot of other relationships that are not Sunday. And those relationships, I feel like, are very much the presence of Christ. And so when you get into, like, we have a group, and this is actually pretty intensive work. Every Sunday, there's like 6 of us that in threes go out to a particular home, and actually we carry the wheelchair out of the house because they can't afford to put in a lift. They can't, but we want our sister to be in church. And so 3 folks go out every morning to get her out of the house and bring her to church. And at the end of a 3.5 hour Sunday, another 3 folks go back and carry her back up those stairs. And so we had a homeless person living out in front of our street, like maybe 50 yards from our door. And you say hi to him, you learn his name. And then one day some youth come and they basically harass them. And out of that, there ended up being more relationship and conversation. And so he was invited to come, and we have meals in our space. And so he came and shared those meals. I could tell it's awkward because he feels different from the rest of us. He knows that he lives outside on the street. But we had him for a while until I don't know what happened. We heard the story about exactly, but where his little encampment that he made, burned up, and all that he owned got burned up, and then he disappeared. But then we saw him riding his bike down the street again. I said, hey, let's talk, and it's been a while since we've seen him, but he was our neighbor. He was so close to us. He made it into the doors. He shared some meals with us. He came to some services, but no, he didn't make it into the congregation as a member. But I feel like, we have a lot of consistency in our members, but we also have an extended community have also gone a lot of years, and they're not Christian, some of them. And so that's where worship especially isn't something that they feel is very foreign. I say, worship is going to you're like an alien. So we have to create these other spaces. And that's actually what we're trying to move towards now, is doing less in our gathered space and more out in homes. Spaces. Yeah.
That's great.